What's going on? I want to come here today and talk about Madison homecoming. Well, and the Hiram Clark Madison homecoming reunion, the party that I do, along with Jesse and Daryl and a couple other folks help us out with it as well. Keith the Green, Bruce Allen over the years, but that event, I want to give a little history of that event, right? So that event back in like '08, '09, they had I don't know if it was just Daryl or whoever, Daryl Crawford or whoever else did a homecoming party. Good party, good party. Um, I saw it that it could be something greater, bigger, right? I'm real big on where I'm from. You know, Hiram Clark, Windsor Village, Madison High School. I mean, just whatever school I went to, I enjoyed myself and met a lot of friends. And elementary, Windsor Village Elementary, Sharpstown Middle School. Taking part in old M&M transfer days. But um, shout out to some of the people I met at Sharpstown that wasn't from Hiram Clark. Some South Park people. I mean, I already knew South Park people. Some South Park people. But I'll give a big shout out to the Piney Point cats. I didn't know it was any black parts of town outside of what we knew of, So at least on the Southwest like that, I didn't know there was this black neighborhood, and a lot of the cats I met from over there was cool as hell, man. So, show love to them, but so to get back to it, so the Hiram Clark deal, so the party probably had about 300 people that night moves. Shout out to the Duran family. 300 people for homecoming was good. We had like fun, hella fun. But my mind started churning. And it was before I started to get into events and parties and whatever. I always had some birthday parties here and there, all the way back into the 90s. Would be some good parties, some good events, but never nothing on the promoter side, I guess. So I saw this as a possibility to embrace all of Hiram Clark. So if you're from Houston and you went to school in HISD, you know that, especially if you went to school and you're from an area that's predominantly, minority, that you could go to different schools on these transfers or whatever. And so a lot of people from Hiram Clark, I don't know what the number is, I was thinking in my mind maybe 20% back then, if not a little more, went outside of Hiram Clark to high school. Bel Air, Lamar, Westbury, law enforcement, health professions, wherever, And so I wanted to bring them all back, bring everybody back into the fold. And so I came up with this idea, and it wasn't like Albert Einstein moment, but it was something that wasn't being done. And so I went to, Daryl was working with the folks at Night Moves and Mr. Duran. And I say, hey man, I brought it to Daryl what my plan wanted to be. Not kind of knowing at the time me and Daryl would end up partnering on it, but for the first one we did, and but the first one we did 700 people, so it more than doubled what the previous ones had been doing, even though they were doing good. And that was my first professionally promoted event as a promoter, right? And even though years passed, I had friends to tell me that I would be good in that role, even in the 90s. Some cats that throw up, I say Ben and Ray Alton, they forgot which one would tell me, like, you need to do parties, you need to, and I would like, man, I don't want to do that kind of stuff, and so, yeah, the party took off, man, and that was 2010. I did it, ran it back in 2011. And then subsequently in 2011, I started my other promotions, ventures in promotions. Really, I was looking at like, it would help my real estate career, which I don't think it really did. But that's a whole nother topic. So I, started doing D-Bar, and then, but I ran back, the Madison one again in 2011. 2012, I think we did it again at over there at Night Moves. For some reason, I'm kind of thinking that a year was skipped or something here and there. But I know in 2014, me and Marquise Jenkins did it together at Jason Jones' spot on Fuquay and Fuquay and Buffalo Speedway. We packed it out, and then so the next year, a couple folks came to me, was like, let's do one together with the whole collective. And I'm like, cool, for the sake of the culture, the Clarke, whatever. And we started planning on it, doing whatever. And some kind of way, I got kind of kicked out of it. And everybody else did too, and except for one other person. But not knowing I was going to get kicked out of it, I got kicked out of it. I found out by looking at IG, looking on there and seeing a flyer for it. The names at the top, mine was nowhere to be found. And so it pissed me off. I mean, I was pissed the fuck off, really. Because it was like a week or two before the event. And so I said I wasn't going to do it. And all of a sudden something came to my mind. I'm like, man, why am I going to let them win? I created this Hiram Clark Madison thing, because not Madison, the Hiram Clark Madison reunion, right? And all of a sudden I'm not, and I'm going to let somebody else kind of jump in on it. I said, no, I'm not going to do it. So I kind of scrambled and I hit my boy B Scott up to see if I could do it up at his office spot, which would have been a killer spot. And B said, yeah. Never know what that could have turned out to be. But a spot over down in Houston does his podcast, and it's a real nice spot. And Devin opened them over there. But so yeah, I went there, I went a few other places. And then, one of the people told me about this ranch that was behind Darling. I was against the ranch originally. I'll be transparent, because I didn't know nothing about it. I was thinking about horses running around, us being in some mud. I was FFA in Madison, but, that not for that. And so I said, well, that day I was kind of scrambling, so I rolled by. I said I had a big pavilion, and just happened to, pull in and met with the owner, which is Sam Harrison. And from 2015 to when COVID hit, we ran it back there, every year. And, at times, very stressful to me. A lot of people don't really see the stress in it. But 2015, I brought, my boy Jesse in on it with me. And Daryl was just so happened because that was a year that we weren't going to do any. I mean, Daryl had moved and stuff. He was doing some of the earlier classes, over at a spot on Alameda Genoa. They did a couple of times. So in 2015, we actually had 3 because the guys who put one together without me, and then in the ranch, and then Darryl was over there. Darryl Crawford was over there. So we had 3 that year. 2014 was a banger. It was just, well, me, Marquise, and then I think Darryl had his over there because after Night Move closed down, that's why we all moved to go somewhere else. And Darryl was on Alameda Genoa at the little spot over there. But 2015, brought Jesse in. We had a week to do it. It was just me and him. And put it together, got with Sam Harris, and and we put it together up there. And the first one, in my mind, I wouldn't care about, like in the promotion business, I'm making any money at it. My thought was just to be honest with you, hurt the people who were screwing me at the other one. But I still want our people to get together, and I still want to be a part of it. When you kind of put something together and create something, you don't ever really want to give that up. Not, if it's not voluntary, right? And so put it on, and the first year there, kind of had it like, if you registered, or it was free till a certain time, and it was limited, because some of the DJs had already been, at other spots. I can't remember I don't think Tricky was with me that year. Tricky wasn't even with us he was with us at Jason Jones' spot, but he wasn't with us at Night Mood, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but ever since 2014, he's been a part of it, from the DJ end, Harvey too. I always want them to be a part of whatever, any especially stuff I do. I mean, I say whatever, but a lot of times the stuff what I do with Hiram Clark, I don't look anywhere else but, kind of dealing with them. And I know we got some other DJs in the Clark, and I need to, a lot of times Tricky finds ways, find ways to kind of get them incorporated, but we'll do better one day, getting, it's a lot of putting it on, I'm sorry, and I'm always kind of mashing it out, and it takes a lot of my time, and with regular work, it can be stressful, but, so, we get back to it, put it together, and it was cool. People stayed over there with us for a certain amount of time. Some people went over to the other spot. Some of the other classes were there that was over there. But we probably had about over 300 people come in that year, which was a huge drop down. It was a drop down from the year before, because the year before was probably about 400 or 500, which was a drop down from Night Moves. Because people get used to going to certain things, right? And then you'll get some of the older classes who may not be accustomed to going to some of these newer spots. They may think it might be, not up to their taste or whatever. And so the first ranch party was at night. And then, but it was a success. Even, one of the guys I think that kind of handled me bad with kicking me out of the other one without telling me I'm kicked out, kind of hit me up and was like, we need to come and get on it. No, I only gave one time to kind of do me wrong. But so fast forward, we ran it back. Like I say, we ran it back 2015 to when COVID hit. We missed a year or two with COVID, came back, maybe 21. Some of us were still kind of antsy about COVID, really, and kind of antsy about COVID, and so we had about 400 people out there that day. Wasn't packed, but for the first time in a long time, because it was kind of a little less stress on me, I had a little bit more fun, even though, you do it for the business aspect too. And which was cool. And then I think, and then Was that 22? I can't remember. I'm getting my years mixed up. But we took it to John Richardson's spot last year, which was 23. The spot is nice. I think that's how we did it. Yeah. No, 22. 22. Took the John Richardson spot. Coming off of 21 being slow because everybody went back out for COVID. That was it. And we would rotate some day parties, some night parties, all depending on when the game would be played, right? I always rather the day party ones. Really with a lot of my events, I'd rather day parties. I cut my teeth on day parties and I just like that, but let me go all the way back to even when I kind of did events and little small stuff in the 90s. I would do little small stuff. Then you move, MOB and me and Steve, we would do like stuff at the park, and Sean and all of us, we would do stuff at McGregor Park, Windsor Village Park, and I just like day parties. But so I'm trying to remember where I left off at before I went there. So kind of ran that play. Oh yeah, went to John Richardson spot. That's where I was, and it was a good event. It was a good event. Like I say, the overhead is high. Some people think that I'm in it to make a large amount of money, but it's not a large amount of money. The event really should be a more expensive event. When you look at events that bring 500-600 people out, to 800 people out, because we did 800 before at the ranch. We did 700. I think we did like 6 something or 7 this past year. But which is cool. I mean, it's a good time. Even 23, 22, we had a nice amount of people, over 500. But those type of events, sometimes can, especially the way it is structured almost like the Zulu ball. If you're familiar with Mardi Gras Zulu, if you buy a table, you don't have to buy a table, but if you buy a table, you get 10 tickets. It's been $10 admission for a lot of years. But you get this table, you get 10 tickets. The table might cost $50. It's like start out with $135, now it's like $150. So for a couple dollars extra, you get this table. You get the ability to bring your own food, whether you have somebody cater it, like some tables do. They even pay Nicole Ford, other people to come design their table. Some like people do, like the Zulu Ball, and have food delivered and Schaefer dishes and all that. Have a bar set out at your table. Many individuals get one for their class, and it's like, meet up central for their class, and it's, my class of 90, Keisha Moore and a few others. I'm sorry if I'm missing everybody, but we can maybe 4 tables from our class in the little corner, or 3 or whatever, and sometimes just 2. But it's somewhere where the class can kind of gather. 89, 88, the Keith of them in the late 90s, then we have to get people all the way up to like 01 or whatever. And so yeah, it's been cool. I mean, I kind of got off topic a little bit, but I just want to give a little history on the event. Like I said, it was something that I saw. Like in conclusion, it was something I saw that where we could grow greater from a Hiram Clark perspective. And it's been a good thing, and running back, like I said, it's hella stressful, but it's still cool. I enjoy seeing all my classmates have a good time. I eventually started having one at one, at a certain point in it, and at one point I'm kind of look like I'm all over the place, a zombie or whatever, but it gets to a point where I start enjoying myself, and kind of when things kind of start to show that the event has been a success. So we don't know that much in advance. Yeah, we sell tables And sometimes we, sell a nice amount of tables, but it's like I said, it's not a high profit margin in the tables and a lot of different stuff, but it's not really in the whole event. Contrary to popular belief. It's so it's cool. I enjoy it. Whether we continue to do the bring your own or there's something else going on, it should always be a good time. And if people look at it as that, whatever money it costs you to get in, and you have a great time, which is never a lot of money, but if you have a good time, don't worry about all that other stuff, So that's how I look at it. When I have a good time, I don't know if I could put a price on it a lot of times, I just enjoy life. And if I have a damn good time, how you quantify that? How you put a dollar amount on that? Just another life experience that you're going to remember. And this event for Hiram Clark in Madison since 2010, and not saying that the years before that wasn't a big deal, but this has been like, something that people wait for, So I was like, Blaylock and all them with the Willeries folk with their spring fling, but I wish we can get it on that level. We'll be on fire for real. But shout out to them. And shout out to everybody else. Shout out to HISD. Shout out to Southside. I got some real good people I'm cool with from all these schools out here. So big up to everybody. Hiram Clark for life. Later.